Few television dramas managed to leave a cultural footprint as deep and enduring as Little House on the Prairie. Running from the mid-1970s into the early 1980s, it became more than a weekly family show. It turned into a shared emotional space for millions of viewers. Set in the fictional community of Walnut Grove, the series followed the Ingalls family as they navigated frontier life with its mix of hardship, moral lessons, and quiet joys. At a time when television was rapidly expanding into more modern and urban storytelling, this series deliberately looked backward, embracing a simpler world that still carried complex emotional weight. Audiences did not just watch episodes, they returned to them as if visiting familiar people. Michael Landon, Melissa Gilbert, and the ensemble cast helped shape a tone that balanced innocence with seriousness. Even its most sentimental moments often carried undertones of struggle, whether financial instability, illness, or prejudice. This combination of warmth and realism made the show stand out in a crowded television landscape. Over time, it became clear that Little House on the Prairie was not merely entertainment, but a cultural artifact that reflected both nostalgia for the past and the evolving values of 1970s America, setting the stage for its lasting legacy. From Laura Ingalls Wilder's books to a television universe, the origins of Little House on the Prairie trace back to the autobiographical books of Laura Ingalls Wilder, which chronicled her experiences growing up on the American frontier. These books, already beloved for their vivid depiction of pioneer life, provided the foundation for a television adaptation that would expand far beyond their original scope. When the series premiered in 1974, it adapted Wilder's stories loosely, using them as inspiration rather than strict scripts. This creative flexibility allowed the show to evolve into a long-running family drama rather than a limited historical retelling. The fictionalized Ingalls family, Charles, Caroline, Mary, and Laura, became anchors for a broader ensemble of characters in Walnut Grove. Writers built new storylines that extended beyond the books, introducing neighbors, rival families, and community struggles that reflected universal human experiences. While the show preserved the spirit of Wilder's memoirs, it also took creative liberties to explore themes relevant to modern audiences. This blend of historical inspiration and television storytelling allowed the series to grow organically over nearly a decade, transforming a set of childhood memoirs into a sprawling televised world that resonated with viewers across generations. Casting the heart of Walnut Grove, the emotional core of Little House on the Prairie rested heavily on its casting choices, particularly Michael Landon as Charles Ingalls and Melissa Gilbert as Laura Ingalls. Landon, already known for his work on Bonanza, brought both star power and creative control to the series. His portrayal of Charles was marked by warmth, resilience, and moral steadiness, qualities that anchored the show's tone. Melissa Gilbert, cast as Laura at a young age, grew up on screen, allowing audiences to witness her transformation from childhood to adulthood in real time. Supporting cast members such as Karen Grassel as Caroline Ingalls and Melissa Sue Anderson as Mary Ingalls added emotional depth and balance to the family dynamic. Each actor contributed to the sense that Walnut Grove was not just a set, but a living community. The chemistry among the cast helped sustain the show through changing storylines and evolving themes. Over time, viewers formed strong attachments to these characters, often feeling as though they were part of their own extended family. This casting foundation became one of the key reasons the series maintained its popularity across nearly a decade of broadcast history. Michael Landon's creative control and vision. Behind the camera, Michael Landon was far more than the show's leading actor. He served as writer, director, and executive producer for much of the series, giving him extraordinary influence over its creative direction. This level of control allowed him to shape Little House on the Prairie into a deeply personal vision of morality, family, and resilience. Landon emphasized emotional storytelling, often focusing on individual character struggles that resolved with lessons about compassion, honesty, or perseverance. His approach made the series distinctive but also centralized authority in a way that sometimes created tension within the production team. Decisions about casting, scripting, and character arcs often flowed through him, reinforcing his status as the show's creative driving force. While this ensured consistency in tone, it also meant disagreements could become significant when they arose. Landon's leadership style was passionate and hands-on, reflecting his belief that television could be both entertaining and morally instructive. Under his guidance, the series developed a signature style that blended sentimental storytelling with serious social themes, helping it stand apart from other family-oriented programs of its era. Stories that tackled real-world hardship. Although often remembered for its wholesome tone, Little House on the Prairie frequently explored difficult and sometimes controversial subject matter. Episodes addressed issues such as racism, disability, addiction, illness, and poverty, often in ways that were unusually direct for family television of the time. Rather than avoiding uncomfortable topics, the series incorporated them into the fabric of frontier life, showing how communities confronted moral and social challenges. Storylines involving prejudice against Native Americans, struggles with blindness, and the consequences of alcoholism pushed the boundaries of what was typically shown in primetime family programming. These narratives were designed not only to entertain but also to provoke reflection among viewers of all ages. The show's willingness to depict suffering alongside hope gave it a layered emotional identity. While some critics viewed its resolutions as overly idealistic, others praised its courage in addressing real human struggles within a historical setting. This balance between hardship and optimism became one of the defining characteristics of the series, helping it maintain relevance even as television trends shifted toward more modern and urban themes. Friction, disputes, and life behind the cameras. Despite its warm on-screen image, the production of Little House on the Prairie was not free of tension. The same creative intensity that drove the show's success also contributed to behind-the-scenes disagreements. Michael Landon's strong influence over production sometimes led to friction with co-creators and network executives, particularly as the series evolved over time. Cast members also experienced challenges related to pay equity, recognition, and workload, which occasionally created strained relationships. Karen Grassel, who portrayed Caroline Ingalls, later spoke about disputes regarding compensation and respect on set, reflecting broader industry issues of the era. Additionally, the demanding production schedule placed pressure on both adult and child actors, many of whom were growing and changing alongside their characters. While the set was often described as family-like in spirit, it was still a professional environment shaped by deadlines, creative decisions, and business realities. These complexities contrast with the show's gentle tone, revealing that even the most idealized television worlds are built through negotiation, compromise, and occasional conflict behind the scenes. Relationships, personal struggles, and emotional ripples. The personal lives of those involved in Little House on the Prairie also influenced its atmosphere in subtle but meaningful ways. Michael Landon's relationships, both professional and personal, affected how cast members experienced the production environment. His affair with makeup artist Cindy Clerico, for example, created emotional strain among colleagues who had long viewed him as a central figure of trust and leadership. For Melissa Gilbert, who had developed a close mentor-like bond with Landon, the revelation was particularly difficult and led to a period of estrangement. These real-life tensions contrasted sharply with the familial themes portrayed on screen, adding complexity to the show's legacy. At the same time, the cast shared many years of collaboration, which naturally produced deep bonds as well as occasional fractures. Growing up on set, younger actors navigated both professional development and personal identity within an unusually public environment. The intersection of work, family-like relationships, and fame created a uniquely emotional backdrop for the series, one that mirrored the intensity often seen in its storylines. A show that challenged television expectations. In many ways, Little House on the Prairie stood out because it challenged expectations of what a family television show could be. While it presented an idealized vision of community life, it did not shy away from difficult emotional territory. The series often placed its characters in situations where moral choices carried significant consequences, forcing viewers to engage with questions of fairness, justice, and empathy. Episodes could shift from light-hearted domestic scenes to deeply serious narratives within the same hour, creating a dynamic viewing experience. This tonal flexibility helped the show appeal to both children and adults, allowing different audiences to take away different meanings from the same story. It also reflected a broader cultural moment in American television, where programming was beginning to explore more nuanced and socially aware storytelling. By blending frontier nostalgia with contemporary concerns, the series created a hybrid identity that felt both timeless and of its era. This balance between comfort and challenge became one of its greatest strengths, ensuring that it remained memorable long after its original broadcast run ended. The end of an era and declining ratings. As the 1980s began, Little House on the Prairie entered its final phase. After many successful seasons, viewership gradually declined, reflecting changing audience tastes and the natural life cycle of long-running television shows. NBC ultimately decided not to continue the series, recognizing that its narrative arc had largely reached completion. Rather than ending abruptly, the show was given opportunities to conclude its storylines in a more deliberate way. By this point, many characters had already undergone significant development, and the central family dynamic had evolved beyond its original structure. While the decision to end the series was not marked by controversy, it still carried emotional weight for both cast and audience members who had followed the show for years. The transition toward closure allowed writers to consider how best to conclude the story of Walnut Grove, leading to one of the most memorable finales in television history. This ending would later become a defining part of the show's cultural memory, shaping how it was remembered long after it left the airwaves. The Last Farewell and the Destruction of Walnut Grove. The television film The Last Farewell delivered one of the most dramatic conclusions in television history. In the story, Walnut Grove faces a powerful land developer attempting to seize control of the town. Rather than allow their community to be taken, the residents make the shocking decision to destroy their own town using dynamite. Buildings such as the schoolhouse, church, and general store are blown apart in a sequence that stunned audiences. Behind the scenes, real physical sets were used, and controlled explosions were employed to create the effect, giving the sequence a visceral impact that felt unusually authentic for television at the time. This decision, driven by Michael Landon, was intended as a symbolic act. If the town could not remain as it was known, it would not be repurposed or diminished. The scene became one of the most talked about moments in television history, partly because of its emotional weight and partly because of its visual boldness. Over time, it developed a near-mythic reputation, sometimes misunderstood as purely metaphorical rather than partially practical production decision. Legacy, memory, and the meaning of goodbye. In the decades since its conclusion, Little House on the Prairie has remained a subject of reflection, nostalgia, and cultural analysis. Its legacy is shaped by contradictions, a show remembered for warmth that often dealt with painful realities, and a finale that was both destructive and symbolic. For many viewers, Walnut Grove represented an idealized version of community life, even as the series repeatedly showed how fragile such communities could be. The destruction of the town in The Last Farewell has been interpreted in multiple ways. Some see it as excessive, others as a powerful metaphor for change and impermanence. What remains undeniable is the emotional impact it left on audiences. The series continues to be discussed because it blended storytelling, performance, and moral reflection in a way that resonated across generations. Its influence can still be seen in later family dramas that attempt to balance sincerity with difficult subject matter. Ultimately, its legacy lies not in a single moment or episode, but in its ability to hold together comfort and conflict within the same narrative world, leaving behind a story that still feels alive in television history.